Hello everyone. So we are going to do the configuration of OSPF using the IP version 6. Okay. So first of all, we have provided the IP addresses. We have labeled the IP addresses. So on every single interfaces of router as well as these are the interfaces of router and these are the PCs on which we have provided the IP address. So labeled the IP address actually. So IP address we have provided from 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon okay 0 colon 1 and double colon. So first three octet or first three blocks are the identity of ISP, so that cannot be changed actually. We can only change in this subnet part. So fourth octet is known as the subnet part and remaining part is known as the host part. So four blocks are available as the host. Okay. So we have provided the IP address just like this. Okay. Let's provide the IP address to each and every single PC as well as the routers. Okay. So subnet will be changed when we move from one local area network to other. So there will be a change in the subnet. Okay. So here you can observe that there is a change in the fourth block. So this will be a change. Here it is changed to. Okay. And when we move to the next local area network, this is changed and this is changed and this is changed. On the behalf of that, we have provided the host. First, second, third host, one host, another host. Okay. So first host, second host, and third host. Two host, one host, second host, first, second, and third host. So these are the hosts provided. Okay. Now let's start allotting the IP address to each and every single pieces. How we can do that? So you have to click on 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 1. Okay. Then double colon for the host part 2, and you have to mention the /64. That is means last 64 bits are available for the host part. Okay. Now let's provide this default gateway. So 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 1 double colon 1. So this is how we have to provide the IP address. Now let's move to the second PC and provide the IP address. So go to desktop IP configuration. Let me copy this one and paste over here. Okay. /64, and this default gateway will be 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 1. Okay. So we have provided the IP address to first two PCs. Let's provide the IP address to these PCs. So PC2, click on static 264, and this is our default gateway. Let's provide the IP address to this PC 2000 colon 364, and our default gateway is colon 1. Okay. In the same way, let's provide the IP address to this PC 2000 colon 0. Sorry, not here, but here 52/64, and this is our default gateway. In the same way, we have to provide the IP address to this PC. So 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 5 double colon 3 64, and the gateway will be colon 1. So we have provided the IP address to all the PCs. Now we have to provide the IP address to the router interfaces. No, enable configuring terminal. Okay. So we have to put the command IP version 6. Okay. Then you have to provide First of all, we have to select the interface, like interface, that is G 0/0/0. Okay. No shutdown. IP version 6. Then you have to put the address like 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 1 and double colon 1, and you have to mention /64 over here. Okay. So you have to mention IP version 6 address. Okay. IP version 6 address. So how we can provide the IP address actually? IP version 6 address, then IP address, and then you have to put /64 as the subnet. Okay, so this is how we provide the IP address, like IPv6 address 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 1 double colon 1 /64. Let me copy this one here, because in Cisco Packet Tracer we can copy the data. Okay, let's select the next interface. Interface SE0/1/0. No shutdown. IP address is, let me copy from this side actually. IP address. So we have to mention the IP version 6 address actually. IP v6 IP v6 address, and here we got it. We have to paste that 2000 colon 0. Okay, 64. Okay, now let's go to the next router and we'll repeat the same. Go to CLI. No. Enable configure terminal. Let me copy the IP address. So interface SE0/1/0. No shutdown. IPv6 address, then 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 2/64. Okay, selecting the next interface. So interface G 0/0/0. No shutdown. IP address, IP version 6 address is 2000 colon 0 colon 3/64. Okay, so this is how we have to provide the IP address. Interface SC0/1/1. No shutdown, and IP version 6 address, that is 2000 colon 0 colon 0 slash 64. Okay, so this is how we provide the IP address for the same. Okay, let's provide the IP address on the next router, 2000 colon 0 4 colon 1. Okay, if you want to cross verify the IP address, you can put a command show IPv6 interface brief. Okay, so here all the IP address are listed. So interface G 0/0/0 is 2000 colon 0 colon 3 0. Okay, colon 1 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 2 double colon 2. Okay, and on the third interface, that is 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 4 double colon 1. Okay, now let's move toward the next router. No. Enable configure terminal. Interface G 0/0/0. No shutdown, and IP version 6 address, that is 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 5. Okay. Interface SE 0/0/1/0, no shutdown, and IPv6 address, that is 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 4 double colon 2. So this is how we provide the IP version 6 addresses to all the PCs. Let me save this configuration. How we can do that? By putting the write command. Let me put the same command on this router, write, and on third one also write. Okay. So how we can do the routing? So let's start with the first router. Okay. Configure terminal interface. So first of all, before going to do the routing, we have to put a command IP version 6 unicast routing. So this command is used before going to start the routing. So this command will be provided everywhere. So IP version 6 unicast routing. Let's go to the third router and put the same command IP version 6 unicast routing. So this is how we can provide the IP address. Now let's configure the OSPF. So to configure the OSPF, what I'm going to take, I'm going to use the area 0 everywhere. Also also I'm going to take the process ID 1. Okay. Let's do the configuration by taking all of these. Let's start with the first router. Interface G0/0/0. IP version 6. OSPF area OSPF 1 area 0. Okay, so it is saying that you don't have provided any router ID. So now we are going to provide the router ID. How we can do that? Router OSPF 1. So it is saying no, I can't start that. Okay. Okay. So router IP version 6 router OSPF 1. So here by this command you can start the process. Okay. Now you have to assign the router ID. Router ID is 1.1.1.1. Okay. So no router OSPF 1. Okay, dear. So we have provided the router ID by this on IP version 6. Let's select the another interface. Interface as 0/1/0. Okay. IP version 6 OSPF 1 area 0. Okay. So this is how we have to configure the OSPF by interface. Okay. Let's go to the mid router and also do the configuration. So interface SE0/1/0, but here it will not work because we have to put a command IP version 6 router OSPF 1. Okay, now provide the router ID, that is 2.2.2.2. Okay. Now let's do the configuration of OSPF interface by interface. So interface SE0/1/0 IP version 6 OSPF 1. Okay. And area 0. Selecting the other interface SE0/1/1 IP version 6. So here we got the message for OSPF. Okay. Same I will do over here. Then selecting the third interface, interface G0/0/0. Interface, so IP version 6 OSPF1 area 0. So this is how we generally do the configuration of OSPF. Let's go to the third router and we'll also repeat the same. First of all, provide the router ID. Okay. IP version 6 router OSPF 1 and router ID that is 3.3.3.3. Okay. Interface G0/0/0 notion IP version 6 router IP version 6 OSPF1 area 0. Okay. Interface SE0/1/0. Okay. OSPF IP version 6 OSPF1 area 0. So this is how we do the configuration of OSPF in case of IP version 6. Okay, so the neighborship will be up now. If you want to check the neighborship in OSPF, we have to put a command show IP version 6 OSPF neighbor. So it is showing 2.2.2.2, the neighbor. Show IP version 6, okay, router show IP version 6 route. So it will show you all the routes on which the data can be forwarded. So these are all the routes when we can able to forward the data. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to ping any two PCs. Let's verify the connectivity. How we can do that? Let's ping any two PCs. So I'm going to ping these two PCs, okay, via ping command. Here, let's do that by putting a ping command. So go to command prompt, put ping, that is 2000 colon 0 colon 0 colon 5 double colon 3. So it is pinging perfectly. The benefit of IP version 6 is that there is no loss of packets. There is no loss of packets during transmission. Like in normal routing, you have seen that there is a loss of IP addresses, loss of packets actually during the ping command, and that is generally because of finding the MAC address of destination. But IP version 6 doesn't do that, so no loss of packets will be there. So that is all about the configuration of OSPF in IP version 6. So subscribe the channel and you can also purchase the notes from our official portal that is mentioned tech with ravish.com. So this is our official portal from where you can purchase the notes regarding IP version 6. Have a nice day.